Right, let's have a look at the FTP node. Also does secure FTP, so FTP is file transfer protocols, just under the core section. And we've got 5 actions that we can perform. So we've got deleting a file or folder, we've got downloading a file, listing file, folder content, renaming, moving a file or folder, and then uploading a file. So we'll start with list. And we're going to need a credential. So I've only got a few options here for the list. Under operation, we've got the other 4 operations that I just talked about there. We've got the path and whether it's recursive or not. And so for credential, we've got the 2 options here. So normal file transfer protocol, which we need the host and we need the port number. 21 is the default, and optional username and password. And then for secure FTP, same stuff. We need host name, default port number is 22 for that. And then we also need the username, and then there is optional password, optional private key, optional passphrase. So I'll just add my secure FTP details. Okay, so I've added my credentials for my secure FTP files site, and we've got the list operation. And for path, I want to use public short clip, temporary short clip, temporary temp. So this will depend on the path that you have in your server, so in your wherever your files are stored. So we'll just execute that and see what it brings back for us. So it is bringing back 5 items. I'll just switch to JSON mode, or you can see table, you can see 5 records there, but I like it in JSON. So we can see it here. Now, can't really tell, but these are not in order. Here we go. You've got one here. So this is AA, this is B, and this is starting with a 0. So you can see there's no order to them based on any of the things. It might be by modified time, actually. Yeah, not sure. Either way, if you want some specific sort order, you can't configure it in the node itself. You also can't filter anything. So this is returning all of the items that it's finding in this folder. You can't filter here, you can't limit it in any way. So it will return all files. So you just need to be a bit careful with that. So let's rename that list, the list operation. So we might want to use a sort node here just to sort by, let's say, the name. So that now if we execute that, it'll organize it by the name. Obviously the file name here is a GUID, so it's a bit hard to tell, but now this AA is second in the list, so that looks like it's probably correct. And how big are these? These are only, what's that, 800K. So that's okay. I will say that the download can't handle huge files, so just have to be a bit cautious with it, but let's do that. Let's download that first file in the list. So we'll call this one download. Open it up, change the operation to download. And for this one, we get the path for the folder that we want, the file that we want to download, and then the name of the output file that we're going to use. And so we can't just grab the name here, or we can if we put the text in there, but if I drag and drop it and put it here like this, then that would work okay. But we can also use the full path, which is provided here. So I'm just going to use the full path for that one. We can see it links to it there. So we'll download it, and then we will upload it after that. But we will upload to not the path there. We'll just grab the whole pathway. So this is just using an MP3 file. So we'll specify the full path, but we'll call it test file.mp3. So it's in the same location, just got a different file name to the file that was downloaded. It is a binary file. It is going to come from the binary field, which is in the previous, coming from the previous node. So that's the data. So that matches up. So that should upload it. Then we might want to rename it. Let's rename. Change it to rename. I should have copied the name there. So we've uploaded it to this path. So now we want to rename it. So we'll just add the suffix renamed to it. For this one, we do get an option, but the only one is whether we're creating directories. So if I had subfolder here, then it would also create that folder along at the same time if this is enabled, but it's off by default. But we're just going to rename it in the same place. So that's that one, and then we'll grab that for the last operation, which is delete. So we've got the 5 options here: list, download, upload, rename, delete. Just tidy them up a bit. So delete, go into that one, and I'll just copy the renamed path, change it over, put that in there. For this one, we get the option of whether it's a folder or not. Again, it's off by default, so it's going to assume it's a file. Otherwise, we need to turn that option on. That's the only setting we've got. So it should now make a list of all the items. At the moment, it will then sort. Right now, because there's 5 items, it will then loop through and download all 5 and upload and do all of them. But we don't want to do that. We'll just do it for this test with the first one. I could add a loop node, but I can also just pop into the settings here and use this execute once option, which kind of turns off the default looping behavior of the nodes. So, since we'll do it for that first one, and then the subsequent nodes, I don't need to make that change because only one item is going to be passed along from one to the other. So let's execute that and see how it goes. So we're getting the list again, all 5 items, sorting them, passing it to the download node. It's downloaded it. Now it's uploading it with the new name. Now it's renaming it, and now it's deleting it. So we can see that that should all go green. There we go, we got that. So if we go into the download, we can see, okay, we did get the binary data here. It was 802 kilobytes, which corresponds with the value over here. That is the file name, got the extension and the MIME type there. And then we go to the next node where we're going to upload, and it looks pretty much the same. But this time, this is going to be the path for the file. And we should see that when we go here, we have renamed it from this name to test file renamed, and we got a return value of success equals true. And then on the last one, we've got deleting test file renamed, and we've got success equals true again. So we get that, so we can check that value. If we get false, obviously we know the operation hasn't completed. But that's pretty much it for the FTP node. There's 5 operations there, as I said: the delete, the download, the list, the rename, and upload. So that's quite handy if you have like a static file server that you can use the file transfer protocol or the secure one to just send files back and forth. It's like a holding area.